speed bump. We're doing a banana Nababa race, which is the world record before didn't exist, and then Author Blues fought for it. I think the world record would have been a blind race that I did. It would have been like 25 minutes. Well, it's 2 minutes and 53 seconds now, so there's a little bit.
Yeah, last Sunday after stream, I didn't do a stream of my own, but I did sit around and do some recorded attempts, and I ended up putting up like a 9-minute time, something like that. It had a death in it, but it was just about as good as I was willing to make it at the time.
That's pretty good.
It's a lot faster now, though, everyone.
Yeah.
So we had talked about it during the show. We had said that like a pretty decent run would probably be 20 minutes. A really good run would probably be under 10, and we could not have been more right, because it turns out that the world record's now 2 minutes and 53 seconds. So
yeah,
pretty good, I guess.
Not too bad.
We all did all right.
That's not too bad. So we got 4 people racing here. World record holders, Tiana there on the top left. To get their name appropriate, and Gaffadil, Ultra Ghost joining us. We don't have a 4th this time.
Yeah, it's I think a lot of people. So a little bit about this. We did discover that I think we decided that Turbo is actually slightly suboptimal. It seems like some of the better runs initially that were coming out did not use Turbo. The current world record is using Turbo, and we finally decided to allow for it because, as with any game that features so much mashing, it becomes a health concern when you do a lot of attempts over and over. I only did about an hour of attempts to get that 9-minute time, and my hand was killing me, which definitely made it a lot easier for me to voice my support for Turbo.
I don't really have a problem with it. I'm not connected with the rules of speedrunning too well, so I'm not sure where they're at with Turbo, but it doesn't personally bother me much. I don't feel like it makes a big difference in this game either.
No,
it just makes it more fun to run.
Yeah, typically the speedrunning community is fine with Turbo as long as I mean it's a game by game basis is the answer ultimately.
Yep. So you have a week left, and it's if you want to join in, that's the thing you can do. You can turbo that sucker, and it's not a painful run. You can compete.
No, it was really easy to get that 9-minute time, honestly. Just sort of learning a few patterns and then taking some shots at it. The hardest part was just getting one run where I didn't die at all. With the access to Turbo, you could get a really good time within a week. You could get a really good time tonight.
You could get it right now as my 4th racer. Just go on Discord and sign. Everybody ready? We're gonna do, what are we doing, 5 runs and seeing what.
Yeah, we're gonna do a 5 times any percent run. This game has some randomness to it, so we're trying to avoid that. And also, it's only 3 minutes long, so expecting to see about 25 minutes long for a 5-time race, but that's what we're doing. So I'm gonna check with them to see if they're ready, and when they are, I'll give them a countdown.
There we go. I've updated my game title. So, everybody ready? You let me know. You can give them a countdown whenever you're good. I'm starting the clock when you say so.
All right, I'm giving the countdown now.
Be using Fiona's audio for this.
All right, I just gave them the go, so you should be seeing them move in within a few seconds.
Yes. So you're gonna see this boss die before we can even talk about him. You just kind of stand there and blast him, turns out.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to do this. So all of these strats are really very doable even without Turbo, if you're willing to mash like crazy. This is a DPS race, and you can really win without even moving. In fact, you'll notice that Gaffadil didn't move at all, because there's a strat where you can get him to just jump up and down in the 3rd phase by not moving left or right.
There's another strat that was discovered like yesterday, where if you press escape at the right time, you go back to the menu during the boss death animation, and if you do it wrong, you'll undo your progress and just go back to the main menu. So you have to very, very carefully time that, but it does skip a second of loading. And since this is an indie game of sorts, a homebrew game maker sort of thing, you also have to worry about how you're recording this. You don't want it to slow your game down. Also a concern that has been coming up You have to make sure you're capturing it in an optimized way, so you don't have any delay that you
In
wouldn't
terms
have.
of the speedrunning, this boss right here, the sludge boss, this is probably like the second hardest one for the speedrun, just because of the fact that those purple orbs that are flying around will stop you from being able to attack. So you want to stay close enough to just wail on the damage, but you don't want to stand so close that you miss, or that you get hit by the purple orbs. So there's definitely, it's definitely very challenging. Fiona's actually having a fantastic worm boss.
Yeah, I've seen the worm who... that boss was taking like 6 minutes at a minimum. That's the one to suck you up too, and it sticks everybody up, but it's not even a problem at this point. It seems like that boss is annoying, and it can take a second cycle if it's lucky. If it's lucky, 2 cycles. The boss being lucky, not you. You can 1 cycle it. From what I've seen, you can drop that guy so fast.
I think ultimately where we're going to see the difference between these races, because I think for the most part several of the bosses are going to take about the same time for everyone. The real differences we're going to see are going to be from the worm. It depends on what pattern you get from him, and the purple sludge boss. So we've already got Fiona going up against. We've already got Fiona going up against the final boss, the Raiden boss. Fake Raiden, false Raiden, something like that.
Yeah. There's a lot of... Okay, so it looks like Fiona won the first one. Already done. There's a lot of RNG to that boss, and I think somebody opened it up, and... same guy who always seems to be doing the task after investigation opened it up. I forget their name right now, but they're always in the Discord dropping really good information, and they dropped the percentage rates of the lightning bolts at 25% each, and then 12.5% for the other 2 attacks. So there's 3 of those attacks, and they're a quarter flip. Fiona's already started round 2. You might want to stop Fiona so that they can all start the second run at once.
Oh, I think we're actually going to do just like 5 consecutive clears just to normalize the RNG for it. So
I'm going to change the way I'm tracking this then. How about clears?
Yeah, Fiona's already into the second boss on her second clear, while the other 2 are working on False Raiden. False Raiden's a really hard fight too. There's a real big trade-off between doing the strats quickly and doing them safely. Standing on the side like this is actually really particularly safe, surprisingly. But it's a lot slower than just standing underneath it and jumping repeatedly. The problem is that his RNG is a little bit strange. He prioritizes more heavily the lightning attacks than he does the other types of attacks, and those are the ones that are real killers right in the middle of the stage.
Gaffadil's gotten their first win.
And Polterghost just finished theirs as well, so...
It's one for everybody.
Yep. Fiona had a really clean first phase for the worm. So the strat for the worm, especially with Turbo, so Turbo does make this one a lot easier. I think this is one of the bosses that's really heavily affected by Turbo, is that you can really take the gamble whether or not you think that the boss is going to come from the left or the right, and if you just throw axes in that direction, if you get the coin flip right, you're going to take out about half their health as they come out, so...
So one of the things I don't know if we've mentioned yet is there are 2 attack buttons and 2 buttons to jump and 2 buttons to change weapons, and it turns out that you can sort of use both attack buttons at once for a little bit of a for a little bit of an easier time doing not turbo spam.
Yeah.
Turbo will keep up with that, but if you're mashing those 2 buttons together, however you bound them, you can increase your DPS somehow a little bit, sort of. So that's the thing.
Polterghost accidentally went back into the second boss. Fiona's doing a great job here. I think she's taking a slightly safer approach to the false Raiden fight. But I think in a race, you really want to play it a little safer.
It's 2 clears for Fiona. Everyone else is on boss 3, boss 4 of their second run. So there's 6 bosses to this. If you haven't familiarized yourself with Banana Nababa yet. Which is a free game, by the way. It's up on my server. Just go to speedbump.run and you can find the link for that if you want to participate. It's not too late. You still got a week left, an entire 6 days to get yourself that world record. Go for it. One runs are really 2 minutes.
Yeah, this is a really fun one to get into. I mean, this is the first speed bump game that I've really taken a crack at myself, and it's really easy to just do some runs, and it got a little bit addicting. I really just wanted to keep going and see if I could get one deathless attempt all the way through.
Well, you took you didn't even clear it, did you? You did.
Yeah,
clear it.
yeah.
On the first
it took me about I think 50 minutes.
Yeah, so that was
how long it took.
You knocked that down to 9 minutes in the same day.
Yeah, that was literally about an hour's worth of attempts. And that was before we all had the discussion about Turbo. It was more of a community discussion. I left it up to everyone in the Discord to kind of voice their opinions on, and I think the end result was that we were all happier with the idea of nobody's hands hurting.
Yeah, I'm going to lean towards accessibility when I can, I think, in the future. For most of these, I've been trying to avoid games that have a lot of flashing and stuff. This boss does. The last boss does. But Turbo was a thing I hadn't really thought about too much. Because we did initially say it wasn't okay, but it is. This time it will be, at least.
When we have the option to set the rules ourselves, I think that's probably going to be something that we talk about a lot. I mean, specifically when Fiona was running Rising Zan, you know, she was talking about how that game actually caused her to develop some hand pains that she didn't have previously, and I think it's important to recognize the fact that some of these games can have that impact if we don't take care of ourselves.
Yeah, that I've actually been taking it pretty easy these last couple of days because I messed up my wrist playing too much. What the hell was I doing? I was up all night playing Civ 6, and that hurt. Clicking all that mouse clicks, that added up.
I'm sorry, you hurt yourself playing Civ?
For 8-9 hours? Yeah, I finished the whole game.
Wow.
It's a lot of mouse clicking when you're trying to rush through Civ. It's not meant to be beaten in 9 hours, I don't think. Also, is the other.
Sure.
So, you know, clicking through as quickly as I can to try and reasonably finish. I ended up needing to take a break for a couple days, just taking it easy. I've also been doing a lot of moving and stuff, so everything added together has been adding up on me. But Fiona did a lot of work on Rising Zan.
Yeah, Fiona really optimized that, but I think sometimes the excitement of trying to optimize a game can sometimes make us not take care of ourselves. So, so anyway, the point is that when we come into a game that already has the rules set, if they don't allow Turbo, we probably won't push back on that. We probably won't create our own categories or anything, but for a game like this where there was no scene previously, it really didn't hurt anything to allow for Turbo. In fact, the world record before Fiona got the 253 was something like a 316, 317, if I remember correctly, and that was the discussion on Turbo had kind of petered out and no one really knew where we stood on it, and so Fiona had done that 316, 317 run without Turbo. So it just goes to show that, I mean, Turbo didn't exactly break the game wide open. You could still compete in it without it.
Yeah, it's good to take a break every couple hours. When I played Civ, I sat there for the whole 8. If you start getting pain right here in your hands, you're starting to do something real bad and you need to stop. Just for the record, that's time to take a break. Just so you know, that's when you're starting to do real damage. If this is where your hand hurts, that's not good. Just take it easy for a while. I would recommend it. It's good for you to...
I really expected to see a lot more struggling with the worm boss, but you know, all three of these players are doing a killer job with it. My experience, you know, this was before Turbo, and I didn't really have much in the way of strats. I was just trying to get a deathless clear, but the worm boss is where every single run died. If you got past the worm boss, you could finish the whole thing deathless.
For the record, Moonberry was the one holding the record until today. Fiona came out of nowhere with this one. Just decided because Turbo was legal, she'd give it another shot, and instantly, under 3 minutes. All right, it was over 3 minutes until then. I think this is the first 253 is the first record under 3 minutes, as far as I know.
Oh, that's right. It was Moonberry before, right?
Yeah, Moonberry was competing in this and is in second place.
Fiona had a 318. I'm going back and looking at the information.
I think Moonberry had a like 316, maybe. I'm not sure. I think
maybe.
that was where it was at. But I haven't been keeping 100% track because there's been so many times in the 3 minute range this time. We had a lot of players on this one.
Yeah, by the way, if you're interested in getting in on these races, we're going to try to make it a little easier for you to get involved with them. We're going to make it a Discord bot or Discord role to be able to be pinged for races like these. And again, you know, the three racers we have up here, all three of them are just doing a great job. They really do know what they're doing. But all skill levels are welcome. You know, there's nothing wrong with joining these races without having a lot of experience, hell, without even having fully cleared it yet. It's just sometimes really fun to watch a lot of different people, even of disparate skill levels, take a crack at it.
Yeah. So I probably am going to. I was debating whether I should or not, but I don't see why I shouldn't when I think about it. I have on my Discord already a system to opt into being in the racers group for the race room to randomly race games every week. My admins set up that. So I can just ping anyone in that who wants to race here for this. You can just go to Discord on my Discord, discord.gg/smite, and type .racer, I think is the command, and the bot will add you to that room, and it'll bring you back in, and it will tag you, and you can opt out when you're done getting tagged. What that means is that whenever a race is about to start, it will ping you, it'll ping the whole group. And we can do that too. We can also ping the whole group, so it makes it easy for us. Even if the bot's down, we can do it manually. And you can go in there and type .done if you care, and it will leaderboard you based on however other many people have.
So this is Fiona's last run, and the time's coming in considerably under what I would have even expected. You know, the world record being under 3 minutes. This is still a game with some variance, so I was kind of anticipating each attempt to be about 5 minutes long. Looks like Fiona's definitely on track to finish in about 18 minutes, which, you know, 5 3-minute runs, that's still...
That is a thing, yeah, there is, and Peely's right, there is a SNES preview demo thing made by the same dev, who I can't find on the internet. It looks like they might have a Twitter, but I'm not sure if it's them. That never came out, and it's sad because that game looks amazing. It looks like this, except in SNES graphics. It looks great. I was looking for that to see if it ever was made, and it looks like it was not. It doesn't look like it was finished. And those devs don't seem to be around anymore, wherever they went. They moved out of the scene. So Fiona's about an entire run ahead of the other two players at this point. That's how far she's pulled ahead. Finishing up.
Yeah, the pace she was on right at the start, I really thought she was going to lap one of the other racers, but it really does seem like everyone has held their own really well.
It should be okay for you to push that now, really. By the way, Nyota is a great indie game. I was playing that the other day. I saw your name was on it, and you might have been the one who gave it to me. Thanks for that. That game whips ass. If you haven't played Nyota. Noita, I'm not even sure how you say it. Noita. Wrapping up. Polterghost and Gaffadil both on their last run now. Noita. I need to get back.
Looks like we're going to end up under 16 minutes, which means an average of what, 3 minutes 12 seconds per run.
I am not exact, but it's 15:45 is what I would say the time for Fiona was there. We're on there, 15:45 to get those 5 wins.
That's really impressive.
Here's some credits. So the reason you saw game over after every boss kill is because they're using the escape suicide button. After the game has locked in the win into the stat screen, they press escape to kill themselves before the animation, and that's what's going on. Has to be done right. I saw Fiona was using that. I'm not sure if the other players are, but it's a time saver in itself, and you care about seconds at this point. We haven't really been at the point where single seconds mattered yet in some of our other runs. A month has gotten us some really good times, but we never got them down to the very second, and this time we have because it's already under 3 minutes. Every second matters now, so when you can save 5, you have to do that at this point if you want the world record.
It was actually Gaffadil that found that technique, and Gaffadil was getting a lot of praise because they made just a very simple GIF showing the comparison of times, one with waiting it out and one with hitting escape, and it was such a clean way of demonstrating the time difference. Everyone was singing their praises.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Polter there took the boss out with him, but it didn't look like they got credit. Or at least they didn't think they did. I think you have to grab the orb and then die. That's what it is.
Right.
So taking the boss out with you doesn't work. You need to grab the orb. Noita is a rogue dungeon explorer. You can fly. You get a jetpack and you're a wizard. Can't go wrong with that.
All right, Gaffadil pulling ahead because of that issue. Looks like now Polterghost is entering the worm fight as Gaffadil is exiting it. So we're probably looking at our second and third place based on how consistent everyone's been so far. It would take a similar type of upset for Gaffadil to fall back. I'm actually really surprised at how consistent everyone's been. I think because of the addition of Turbo and because of what people know about the fights now, it's a lot less of... There's a lot less randomness to it.
Mm-hmm. There is. But, I feel like the biggest RNG in this is the boss at the end using the random lightning. I think that's pretty big dice roll, and that changes the way you fight him pretty significantly. So I think that's the worst part of randomness in this. But certainly, the snake movements are a part too. They depend on. They're going to affect you a little bit. I don't think as much, but a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not even sure which attack you would want over and over. I guess you'd probably want the ball lightning attack over and over, because if your jump pattern's pretty good, it can just miss the platform and you entirely, which would make you pretty safe. But I mean, there's several attacks that are pretty harmless and don't slow you down if you know how to deal with them.
Gaffadil is done at about 19 minutes.
Still really, really good.
And Polterghost almost is going to be under 20 minutes probably, unless they take a death here, because it's looking pretty good.
I mean, that's amazing if you think about it. Even under 20 minutes is still, on average, a 4-minute run each run.
I mean, the reality is that they beat the game 5 times, and we said this would be a good time last week. That's with our words. They beat it 5 times. They're 5 times faster than what we thought.
Exactly.
That's a good time. That death might slow them down. It's going to be close. Can they beat the boss in 20 seconds? It could be done. 15 seconds. They needed to go grab that health, I guess. But yeah, the path that the bot is choosing right now with the bolts on the left is completely random, as far as I understand. And they're just losing a coin flip now that they're taking this much damage. So
yeah, apparently there's 5 attacks that the boss can do, and it disproportionately chooses the obnoxious lightning attacks. That's still just about 20 minutes flat. That's 4 minutes average per run. That's really great.
Yep. I mean, it's not just our incredible Moonberry and Fiona have been taking these. They've taken all of them. No one's coming to stop them yet. Those two have been winning all these. You can do it. I mean, Polterghost and Gaffadil here joined up and are already hitting under 5 minutes in this competitive times. It's a fun game to speedrun. Anytime a speedrun is like 10 minutes, it makes me want to jump in, because that's so fast. You can do 10 runs in an hour and still be good to go eat dinner. I mean, it's just so good. And this is a fun game.
You should put up a time.
Yeah, I think I might. Yeah, I'm gonna try because turbo makes it a lot less painful too, and that's legal now.
Hmm.
Bind both buttons if you want, whatever. Maybe bind them individually if you want, and get your jump on the controller and just turbo it up if you feel like it. If you feel like that's what you want to do. Um, you might be better off without it though if you're really good at button mashing and timing.
Well, that's what we got. That's 5 any percent runs back to back. I think if you had asked me last week, I would have said that that we could see one race. I can't believe that we saw 5 runs back to back for a race.
Yeah, pretty good. I'd say this game is I mean, it's already under 3 minutes. I don't know where it's gonna go. What is the perfect time for this? 2:30 seems a high bar. It seems like a crazy lucky bar to get to. You're gonna knock out 23 seconds off of that? That seems tough.
Yeah, I think all that's really left now is just getting perfect RNG on both Fake
Yeah.
Rayton and the Slithworm.
Yeah, the technique is there. Everyone can reproduce it too. It's not just one person. Everyone can reproduce that if they really go for it and spend a couple hours on it. So, um, I've run into RNG before when I mean, my first speed game was Rogue Legacy. I don't know if you've ever played that one, but it's pure RNG. It's, I mean, there's a lot of platforming skill to it. It's a very hard game, but once you've mastered that, it is incredibly random. Where a good time could be anywhere from 9 minutes to 20.
Right.
And I was consistently getting like 14, 15-minute times, and trying to beat that time made me lose my mind because the RNG was not friendly at all. It was never solid. It was never perfect.
It's always frustrating running a game where the RNG plays a huge factor in getting the right run. Especially if it's a long game, because then you just have to accept what you get. If it's a short game, then it just becomes a reset fest.
I would have not done it if it was more than 10, 13 minutes. It was like 15 minutes a run, and then I knew if I'd failed or not at that point. I can like just being able to do 8 runs in a sitting helps a lot. 8 full runs. If it weren't for
Right.
that, I wouldn't have gone for it because RNG running is really painful. I tried to do the randomizer for Zelda, Link to the Past, and after a while there, me being worse at reading the randomness than the other players being the only thing stopping me from winning, got a little old, got a little tired of that. Couldn't compete anymore. Every time pulling the worst choices on this random dice.
I'm getting old. That's what it is.
Yeah, I'm getting old, and it's getting old with me. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. That was our Banana Nababa. Next game, we'll have a new one for you. This is Author Blues Choice, isn't it? Coming up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's in 6 days. So if you feel like competing in Banana Nababa, just head to speedbump.run. It's our website, and you'll find the link to download it on the front page there. And you'll see
Discord
updates.
chat's super friendly as well. Everyone's super excited to offer assistance or to cheer you on for your runs. So don't forget to come by the Discord.
Yep. Have a good one.